Time for that booty to get pounded with a big rubbery orange. John likes the rubbery orange. I can't stand spicy stuff. really hate people that bitch about people playing a game. It really grinds my gears. Yes, John. John,
But
I'm scared of the big glass cloud in the sky.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know you got the custom maps and all that shit. All that.
it wants to eat my Cheerios. About custom maps?
But I know you the one with all the custom maps, the really weird
Yeah.
ones that would be better off to play with. I would say throw that when like a fog mist at night and be some neighbor. You'll see what I'm talking about.
My favorite one is the one with the big butt. That's my favorite map. It's just a big ass.
I mean, some cities are okay, but I want
I'm scared, John. Tell me that you love my elbows. So you want to do a custom, huh?
well, I'm currently re-downloading Saints Row Bud.
What
I don't
about
understand how it's go up, but whatever.
number 4, John, or the second one?
Don't have I don't got them. Good. One was better, technically.
Yeah, but the second and fourth are good too, in their own way.
To be honest, I'd rather just play San Andreas. If it was co-op, that would be really, really fucking awesome.
Yeah, there is. Um,
When I say co-op, I'm not talking about
just listen to me,
your
John.
buddies
Just
can join
listen
in.
to me. There's 2 ways you could do co-op. You can use like this mod thing where you can kind of like do a thing together. Well, there's another mod thing where you can get on servers and stuff like that. Just look it up on YouTube. There's ways to play it together.
And the whole
GTA
thing
2
about
has the
that
same
one,
thing.
the first time I played that shit, 2-player and all that stuff was for the campaign. All tethered and shit, and didn't really do a lot of.
I'm not talking about that.
That's San Andreas, I remember.
Yeah, but there's modding in the computers.
Yes, yes, I know. Back then, I didn't have a PC.
Even Skyrim has a co-op mod.
And I've got Skyrim.
And Morrowind.
I just don't play it anymore.
Even the original Fallout 1 and 2 got merged into like an MMO kind of thing. Yo, you can even play Pokemon on fucking MMO. You can do red, you can do gold and silver, and black and white all in co-op. I'm just fascinated by it. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm sorry, Drum. Anyways, what custom maps you into? Because I got a lot of them. I can go look for some more. There's just one that was supposed to be like a co-op mission, custom mission. We can try that.
I've actually been looking at those lately too. The missions, the dynamic campaigns and shit.
Yeah, this one's like a co-op
I
mission
mean,
kind of, but it's like
like
modern
I know
tank
we
stuff.
used to do that shit back then, but we don't do that anymore.
Well, I got so many here I've been waiting to do with you guys for years. I haven't even tested them all out because I need someone to help me test them.
Oh, pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, just kidding.
Hell, Seth and I even played Subnautica in co-op.
I know.
Yeah.
We all played that, remember? You know,
Mm-hmm.
once.
Yeah, and then I got sick.
Mm-hmm. Right after I finally got in and all that shit going.
I know. I was so excited. Well, can't help what I can't help, especially when I'm starving. What the hell's TWS? I'm gonna try to do a mission and try to unlock. I'm gonna try to finish this match real quick, okay? John, good job. I was watching Civi 11's Jill of the Jungle thing. And he said, I bet you guys probably expect me to start making a bunch of dirty jokes about this now. He's like, well, what I have to say to that in that case is, hey, you must be familiar with this channel. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. You get it, John?
Okay.
It's morphin' time. I'll be a little baby now.
Fuck those. Thompson. Those douchebags put another fucking U.S. naval right in the lead, messing up the whole lineup again. Fucking shit. This is
That wasn't as focused as I should have been. I think I'm getting my butt kicked, John. I don't know why, but I think it's just a hunch. TWS tag warning system. What is that, John? This guy says that I plays Transonic as I haven't played any Sonic games since I was 10 years old. You're not talking about
Uh,
Sonic the Hedgehog, you're talking about Super Sonic.
it just might be a tad bit older than I am then. Thinking about it, if he was 10 last time he played Sonic Hedgehog, let's see, last time I played a Sonic game. Yep. Yep. Uh, Late 90s, early 2000s was the last time I ever touched Sonic games until recently when Sonic All Stars Racing.
Well, the only time
That
I really got to
everyone
play
pissed
around,
off of me.
yeah,
That beat me.
alright, John.
I drive too crazily good for them.
You ready, John?
Yeah. Mario Kart. Wee.
Do the Mario.
I
Swing
remember I
your
did have a
arms.
DS, but I
And
think I
then
gave
choke
that to
out your
no.
parents while they sleep.
I remember who I gave my who I had a DS, but I can't fucking remember who that went to.
Don't you remember that Mario song where he told everyone to kill their parents? That's my favorite song.
What?
That's my favorite song. He says, swing your arms and then use them to choke out your parents while they sleep.
Weird.
Yeah, that's probably why I get a boner from choking people out. Because Mario told me to.
Okay, creepo.
I guess we'll test this one out. I honestly don't know what's going to happen, so might as well try it.
Apparently I can only bring in the A10. Okay, that's fine.
And the leopard.
I okay. It's if I was going. No, it's grayed out too.
Well, I don't
Can't
remember
bring that.
anything about this. I've waited like years to try that. I've waited like a year or two. I don't know how long.
Lying it is. Leopard is enough.
I think you're supposed to be in tanks when you do this.
It's not even letting me get into a tank. It's just
Because it didn't
forcing
start
me to
yet.
only do air.
Oh. Hell if
Yeah,
I know.
everything was grayed out besides my A10. I went to Germany
Oh,
for my
that's right. Because
leopard,
the
and that was
leopard.
grayed out.
Oh, I fucked up. I accidentally restricted the BR to 9.7. That's why.
And the leopard's a 9.0.
Okay, John, I get it, alright? I get it, okay? I can modify it.
It happens. That's if you want. We can go back to hangar and we can just reset it all. Hasn't
Yeah,
even
let's
fucking
reset
started.
it all.
Hasn't even fucking started. Let's do this. I'm like, it hasn't even fucking started. Let's go. Chunkless. You know what a chunkless is, right?
Oh, I thought we were gonna. Okay,
Do
then
what?
never mind.
For what?
I'll just rejoin.
What? I thought we were going to.
I thought we were going to the hangar, but that's fine.
But I've been back to hangar.
Oh, I forgot that it takes you two cups of tea.
Yeah, it takes me a moment, buddy. Remember? Computer not up to date yet. Not until I can get case. Then PC computer.
Okay, John.
All
Okay.
parts are sitting here.
We'll hit ready in the chat down there.
Yeah, so, I'll go take a whiz. Wait, let me go check if I can. Stuff. Nah.
Hmm. John,
What?
how's it going? I had to leave to try to actually messed up my lineup, and now I'm trying to rejoin. John, can you invite me to session?
Fucking pissed me off.
What'd the dog do?
Hey, drop fucking guided bombs. Still won't fucking drop.
You probably brought the guided bombs.
I did bring the guided bombs. They even have the fucking settings the right way, and yet they don't want to fucking drop.
That's because there's a button specifically for them. There's a
I
drop
know.
guided bombs button, and you hit it to lock, and then you hit it again to drop.
I know. I was doing that. I had it locked, and then I hit the fucking drop, and it still won't fucking drop.
Was it in front of you or underneath you?
In front of me, technically.
It probably wasn't time to drop it
And
yet.
I can't look down because it keeps fucking itself over.
Yeah, it only has a limited range it can look around in.
All it wants to do is stay looking forward, up, towards the sky, the whole fucking time.
Yeah, it aims forward, so you gotta aim down.
No, when I say aim forward, I mean it literally being wanting to be looking into the sky, upwards into the sky, not the ground.
I
Don't even want to go
know,
down.
because that's its standard set position. Can you invite me to session, John? I need to try something. I don't remember how this mission is supposed to work. So I brought a tank to see if it activates properly.
Boy, let me bring in mine, so...
I fixed that already, John. Remember? That's the whole point of us restarting it.
Yes, but I went back to my Germans to see about the leopard. The leopard's still fucking grayed out. Cannot be used. None of them.
Well, I changed it to 9.3, John. That's why. You can only use the leopard. I mean
No, this
9.0.
is 9-0.
I know, John. You know what I meant.
What in the fuck? Oil and all that when it's supposed to. It's not even showing altitude anymore. What in the fucking blazing did they fucking do? Oh, this is why I fucking hate them so bad. Simple fucking updates and fuck everything over.
I usually don't bother with the bombs because they take more practice to use effectively. I just bring dumb bombs and missiles. Smart missiles, dumb bombs.
When I say they fuck up everything, I'm talking about Gaijin as a whole. Whenever they do updates, for some reason, it fucking fucks over all of my settings. Planes, ships, tanks, the whole.
I always save
Pisses
my
me
settings.
off.
I never had this problem.
Even
I've logged
when
into
it's
Seth's
saved.
account and I logged back into mine and it didn't even overwrite them. So there must be something going on with your settings. Do you run War Thunder as an administrator?
I run it through freaking Steam, dude.
You run it as admin?
Never had to.
Well, that affects file saving, especially on Windows 10. So that's why I was wondering.
Hell, it's even showing things it's not supposed to be showing. Motherfucker showing shit for a fucking helo. I'm like, but I'm not in a helo. But I'm like, I don't have those fucking helo
My
controls.
C key feels too sensitive. John, I need air cover. I need you to stop all these tanks?
I just feel like it's. Oh.
John, there's a bunch of tanks
What the
getting.
hell is my fuck? That's it. I'm trying to fucking turn and my plane decided to fucking do other things. For no fucking reason, you start wigging out. Like, what the fuck? Straight up, flying straight, normal. Getting pinged by a fucking boat that keeps killing my ass. Trying to fucking rear off and it fucking wigs out. I'm like, I'm out.
Stop
I'm
going to the
done.
boat. I'm surrounded by tanks. I want
I
you to shoot
wasn't
them.
going to the boat.
I saw you put a sign on your shirt that said, I'm going to the boat, and if I say otherwise, don't question me.
Fuck off. I'm done. Trying to piss me off. Every single fucking time they do this to me. Pisses me. They don't even say anything about them fucking with the PvE shit. Again. Fuck did it? Fucking lazy bullshit. Not going over a fucking ship this a fucking little PT boat this time and still died.
It's a land PT boat that time.
Right. Now, I don't even know what my fucking distance from the ground is because it won't fucking show me. For some odd reason, this stupid fucking update got rid of it.
It was fine earlier.
All I see is just the fucking shit for a helo, not a plane.
Yeah, someone said there was
That's
an
what
update
HUD
just a
is.
minute ago that fixed it.
Yeah,
But it wasn't.
that so-called update was what I had to do before even getting on. And it
I
fucked
didn't.
everything over.
I didn't update it. 1, 2. It wasn't like this a few hours ago.
Yes, but I wasn't on until just now. I had to do the update.
Why did you get on now, John? What's wrong with you?
I've been fucking gone all day.
Oh, okay. I do like some of the look of the HUDs here, parts here and there.
It makes me not even want to fucking be playing. Pisses the fuck out of me.
I'm putting APDS to this guy's dead body.
And I can't even figure out where I can't even find where to go and turn on the fucking distance from the ground at. Like, that's gone.
Because it's glitched, I think.
Not even there anymore.
Oh, that's your...
I mean, the measurement's still there, but it won't fucking tell me.
Your body landed near me, John.
Fucking done.
Why don't you just get in a tank?
That's what I'm going to do. It's fucking over to Germany to get in the fucking leopard.
Well, let me restart it. Because
I can do the leopard.
I done killed about everything I've seen so far.
Ah, it'll respawn. Now this,
Oh. Are you in the hangar still?
I just went back to hang.
Okay, switch to the leopard.
What I'm doing.
Okay, now switch to the other leopard.
I don't have the other leopard. The normal leopard, remember?
You need to use the other leopard's leopard and his uncle.
Yeah.
Alright, John. You're the leader. Oh, wait. Never mind, I am. Alright, finally, after 12 years.
What the fuck? After me complaining a few times because they fucked over the fucking flying, now I really don't want to fucking fly anymore.
It'll be fine. I was dogfighting earlier.
I seen that. I was trying to come in, but the fuck, but wigging out on me all the fucking time. So I'm like, fuck it. Am I not able to fucking fly anymore? What the fuck?
Well,
I got pissed off because I'm a really good flyer or something?
well, it's been a really long time for you, John.
No, because I was on yesterday and earlier this morning. I was doing Delos this morning. But Nordic asked me what I was doing.
Oh, hey, that's a reload point right there. By that guy with the boxes. Let's follow that guy. He looks like he knows where he's going.
Hello, Jim. What the hell's this thing?
Don't know, but let's follow him. Hey, did his brake light just come on? Yeah, we pulled out in front of him. That's rude.
Hey, I'm not in front of you now. Why the fuck are you still stopping?
Remember, John, 2 car lengths.
Beep, beep.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't. I would stop 4 car lengths to find a tank.
Okay, the wheels aren't moving now. It's like just sliding over.
Oops. It's probably friendly. Maybe.
I don't know about that, but
Hey, why are they shooting at our friendly planes? John, tell them to stop. Hey, I got ammo.
replenishment completed.
Huh?
Replenishment completed.
I think that was for me, John, not you. I stopped by this box right here.
You got a hole in your side.
That's rude. That's a heat shell you used. Did you get your ammo back yet?
Replenishment or first stage ammo storage.
Oh, yeah, just sit there sick.
Wait here to reload. Reloading.
Yeah, watch your ammo down there. Make sure you get it. Did you get your ammo back? Hey, look, there's our truck buddy. He finally made it. John, did you get your ammo back?
It's completed, but I don't. No. Where you going now?
I'm gonna see what's over this hill. Truck. I want to see what this truck be doing. Alright, let's get out of here. Turn on your tow cable, John. The sand is kind of rough. I don't like sand.
Right.
Hey. Where are you
What?
going faster?
I'm not supposed to see it.
I don't like sand. It's dry and rough and gets everywhere. Hey, you just hit a ramp. Going this way, young man.
Oh, go this way.
Oh, jeez, you almost. I just saw a shell go over your head. Oh, it's a milk truck.
Keep sliding backwards.
Okay, tow cable back on.
What?
Tow cable back on? Come on.
Yeehaw! You didn't see what my Texas did.
You flipped through the air.
Just went over and went.
Listen to Richard Pryor or something?
Nah! Dave Chappelle. Where you getting shot from?
Don't know. Somewhere from the front. Pick up my track. Oh, he actually got me. I'll tell you where
Where
he's
at?
at. Hold on. My front left. Oh, my left. My left for the front. See where my barrel's pointing? About 5 degrees to the left of that. I need to go pee.
That's bad.
Did you die? Coming. I'm coming to save you, John. Oh. Oh my, don't die without me. Man, Scruffy could join us in this too if he wants to try it out. John, shoot at him for me. John!
What?
Ouch! Shoot at him so I'll know where he's at.
I don't even know where the fuck he's at.
I lost track of him. He's like, well, where's my dead body? It's that way. He was this way.
I don't even see his ass.
He was somewhere to the left. That's all I think I found him. I see one coming onto the road. Fucker. Man, I do like some of the HUD elements that they've added, though. It wasn't him, but it was one of his buddies, I guess.
Found him.
I got one bomb.
Look, got him. Boom.
Did you find his buddy? Did you find another one of him?
Not that I know of.
Alright, I'll give you a flyby then. How was that?
Interesting.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom. The restroom. The restroom. Oh god, yeah. Oops, accidentally left. Sorry. I'm rejoining, we're trying to. Oh, there it is. I'm rejoining now. Get right back. John, you better tell me how much oranges you need. Alright, John. I'm coming to help you.
I'm fine.
Don't worry, John. I'm here to save you. I might be 2 weeks late, but damn it, I'm gonna save you.
Actually hiding on this hill. Uh-huh.
What the? Whoops.
The
Huh?
population is greatly decreased, and now the odds are greatly increased that I may someday get a chance to kiss your lips. I thank the Lord each day for the apocalypse. Folks are mostly disfigured or dead, but sugar, I won't let it go to my head. My mama's face has dripped down into the dirt, but I'm still chasing Chitlin's whiskey and skirt.
I'm drunk. I guess.
Not offering here through. That's
Ooh, I see two. I see two. Woo woo. Oh, you're too far away. Damn, John. It's time for me to be the Apache pilot I always never knew I could be.
Oop, God. That was it. Perfect. I don't even know where I'm sitting. I'm fucking way the fuck back. But it. Oop, God. 2,424 participants. Long shot. Heavy round.
But I'm still chasing Chitlin's whiskey and skirt. You know, after I started this, I realized we could have literally brought any BR we wanted. Yeah, I didn't have to lock
Restricted.
it. Yeah, it's because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know if the AI was gonna spawn or not. I think there's a part where we can escort a convoy of sorts. What the hell shooting at me? What the fuck is that? Oh, I know.
Ooh, this.
But I'm still chasing Chitlin whiskey and skirt. Bum ba da ba da da. Bum, bum. Uh-oh. Oh, those are friendly planes. Oh, I see you locking on to me, you little shit. I see now that turret snapped. I know. And I know that you know what's coming.
Long. Eh, shut up. Not enough over here. Alright, it's about time I go get some more
Would you ammo?
ammo.
You having fun, John? What's that?
I need ammo.
I said, are you having fun? You having fun, sir?
Hmm?
Yes?
What?
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 Are you talking to me?
Hmm? Yes, I know.
On the road. I'm indestructible. No one can stop me. But they try.
Weasel?
Huh? And I'm watching or listening to Dave Chappelle. I'm just over here getting more ammo.
I think you're giving me ammo.
I'm sitting here at the end to replenish. Yeah, I had it from 0 fucking from the heavy shot to 20. That's all I can carry.
Stay
is
right
20
there.
the heavy shot,
I think it's giving me.
21. What?
I think it's giving me ammo too. Stay there for a sec.
Are you getting the thing saying
Yeah.
refilling? Please
Yeah.
wait here as well?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be interesting if one person can just sit here while everyone else gets fucking
It's
replenished
flashing.
and just keep going.
My air to ground.
But is your freaking refilled?
No, I don't think so.
Then it's not working.
I thought it did because I fired a missile, but then I had like 6 after I done fired that one. I was like, what the hell?
Misfire?
No, I was guiding it in and it blew up against the ground.
Or a miscount? Really? Don't ask me, man. I want to turn on the whiz. I want to turn on the heater now because it's cold. I'm starting to feel the cold.
Cents a gallon, and it was pumped for you by Unit.
Service without having to ask for it.
Telephones had rotary dials, and when you needed to look up information, you didn't go online. You went to the library and looked through index cards.
7 million index cards fill the row on row of drawers that line the walls.
It was a very different world than the one we live in today. And perhaps one of the biggest differences is that it was the early days of national television. Television was revolutionary, and it made it possible for America to show itself to itself and to the world.
Television is most certainly here to stay.
Everything presented on TV looked different than shows look today, and quite often the people appearing on TV looked by today's standards uncomfortable, and they were. Shows were live then, and TV cameras were huge. And remember, almost no one had ever been in front of a TV camera before. So when this intimidating box was pointed at them, people often spoke in ways that seemed a bit stilted.
Our son Merritt took the course. He understands the rules, and he follows them.
It's tempting to chuckle and look at these people from the 1950s as uptight.
The students like it, the parents like it, and best of all, it works.
But don't let this fool you. Look behind their unease, and you will find that these people were ordinary American citizens just like us, who felt lucky to be living in what they felt were the best of times. And in many ways they were. As a nation, they had been through some very rough times. 10 years of the Great Depression and 6 years of World War II, where tens of millions had died, and much of Europe and Asia were destroyed. Now, post-war Americans felt that it was finally their time to settle down, to live what was called the good life. For most Americans, the good life meant working toward living the American dream.
Maybe a nice home in suburbia, and some nice kids, and a beer and a ball game on a Saturday afternoon.
And we'll have the living room right in here, and the kitchen right here. And, oh, darling, it's going to be just perfect.
The American dream. Owning a home.
Because in a well-built house with adequate leisure, they can live and work as better Americans.
And a car, or maybe two.
An American car. We have a right to take pride in our cars.
And modern appliances that their grandparents had never known.
You can own your own home, complete with its own refrigerator, television set, and clothes dryer.
Boy, here's real emancipation from old-fashioned chores.
A refrigerator, washer and dryer, perhaps a dishwasher, and so much more. And all of this was possible because of our industrial and economic power, and because of what was commonly called better living through science.
Inventors, engineers, and manufacturers continually offer us improvements so we can have
ever greater progress in science and business that ensure a way of life that is physically gratifying and spiritually uplifting.
Chemists have a lot to do with this, turning coal into everything from truck tires to sheer 90s.
The world of science has given us some fabulous things.
Materials which make fabrics more beautiful and easier to care for than natural ones.
New and better stretch yarn for women's stockings.
In the world of tomorrow, plastics will certainly call the tune.
The scientist has something to offer to the public which is far, far more than gadgets and inventions.
We had faith in our science and our scientists. In the 1950s, American scientists had given us the discovery of DNA. And the salt polio vaccine.
The vaccine to prevent paralytic polio, developed by Dr. Jonas Salk.
And American engineers won high praise worldwide for our new American highway system with millions of miles of paved roads.
More motorized mobility than ever dreamed of before.
Freedom of movement for all, symbol of democracy.
We have become the nation on wheels.
And this is Levittown.
Levittown, one of the world's largest single-unit housing developments.
To make the American dream a reality for everyone, developers were building tens of millions of houses.
Budget-priced homes. This symbol of modern American living has changed the great USA.
You can raise your children far from the city's dirt, crowding and crime, in comfort and safety.
No.
Suburban cities with new water supply systems, street lights, sewer systems, electrical power grids, and more. Much of the infrastructure we depend on today was built during this time. As millions of people bought homes and got college degrees and, quote, settled down, they became a part of something that the world had never seen. The huge American middle class.
Never in history has the American family known such well-being.
A standard of living beyond the wildest dreams of anyone who lived a half-century ago.
Today, the middle-class American dream is sometimes made fun of. But for adults at that time, it wasn't funny. It was literally a dream come true. But there was a dark cloud hanging over that dream, over every home, over every suburb, and every city.
The possibility of a nuclear war in which some will survive.
You are the target of those who would trample the liberties of free men. You are in the crosshairs of the bomb sight. An enemy is centering on you, the United States of America.
It is very difficult for those who live in a democracy to understand specific conditions of a totalitarian system, being manipulated, being educated in a specific way. In the 30s, as a young boy in my high school, I did believe in all what our propaganda said. I did believe in the rightness of Hitler's policy, and even all the successes of Hitler convinced myself, I was then a young boy, this is the right way. He does everything for the Germans, for the greatness and for the honor of the Germans. And if you were marching in the rally, or let's say in the Hitler Youth, you had this absolutely feeling undefeatable. There is nobody else who can be compared with us.
Und die uns zusammenführte im Kampfe, ringen und groß werden ließ. Daher können das alle die nicht verstehen, die nicht die gleiche Not in ihrem Volk gelitten haben.
He was somebody, I must say this. Ne? And then he could verführen, the Jews, yeah? Was ist verführen? Seduce. He could really seduce the people, and he had some sort of influence I cannot describe.
He was a phenomenon. When he started speaking, he mesmerized, especially large audiences. He was a mass communicator, and he did it by sort of easing into the speech with a deep, sonorous voice that was almost seductive.
Dieses Jahres wurde die neue Regierung der nationalen Konzentration gebildet.
And on a crescendo, kept on going, intensifying until in the end he was practically screaming. Not only practically, he was.
Dieses deutsche Volk emporführen durch eigene Arbeit, durch eigenen Fleiß,
Fascinating.
eigene Entschlossenheit, eigenen Trotz, eigene Beharrlichkeit, dann werden wir wieder emporsteigen, genau wie die Väter einst auch Deutschland nicht geschenkt erhielten, sondern selbst nicht schaffen mussten.
Even today, I must say, if one see the documentary film on the rally in Nuremberg, marching thousands of people, and then one cry, Heil mein Führer, this is something give you the strength, a strong, absolutely unbelievable, fascinating feeling. Well, what kind of Germany, you know, what the greatness of Germany, what kind of discipline the Germans have.
General Johannes Steinhoff is a leading Luftwaffe ace who later becomes head of NATO's military committee. His face shows the scars of combat.
Please bear in mind, Hitler came to power the very moment radio was invented. And Hitler was using radio in a very clever way. After 1 year, after Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, we had the so-called People's Receiver. This was a small radio. Each family was having this in their kitchen. So the Führer could talk on a daily basis to his people. he was using, for the first time, the media in a very clever way, using radio in an extensive way. So the medium radio, thank God he didn't have television, was a tremendous tool in his hands.
With the country behind him, Hitler vows to reclaim the territories lost to Germany in World War I. In 1936, he sends German troops into the Rhineland, an area barred to German forces by the Versailles Treaty. Hitler's generals are afraid that the French, with a much bigger and better equipped army, will fight.
Hitler said we're going to march into the Rhineland, and we marched into the Rhineland, and France did not move. Even if Germany at that time had so few troops that what they did at night, they quietly marched back over the same Rhine bridges in order to march in with music and bands the next day in the morning. And they kept repeating that, pretending that they had enormous numbers of troops there. It worked.
They had the strength to stop Hitler before he had started a major European war. If the Allies had done something at that time, it probably would have been the end of Hitler.
Next, Hitler marches into Austria and then into Czechoslovakia. Britain and France protest, but again do nothing. Hitler has pulled off a series of brilliant bluffs against larger and stronger powers who lack the will to confront him. General J.A. Graf von Kielmansegg, later to become commander of NATO's land forces in Central Europe, was a young German officer at the time.
The whole German people, he was a great man. Please don't forget about Hitler. One thing, he had given back to Germany more or less all what Germany had lost in the Treaty of Iraq without any war, in peace. He had done away in 2 years 7 million unemployed people.
1939, another coup. Hitler negotiates a treaty of alliance with the Soviet Union. Hitler and Stalin agree to invade and divide Poland. Russia will be allowed to swallow the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Now that Hitler's back is secure, he takes a giant step. On the 1st of September, ignoring warnings from an aroused Britain and France, he attacks Poland with masses of tanks, led by screaming Stuka dive bombers. It is a new form of warfare, blitzkrieg. The Polish horse cavalry valiantly and briefly charge the tanks with their lances. The spectacle is too much for Britain and France. They declare war on Germany. Hitler is stunned. His foreign minister, von Ribbentrop, had assured him they would once more stand aside.
He didn't intend to start World War II. He didn't even intend to start the European war. He proposed to have a nice little private war with Poland. And that's where he made a mistake.
It is Hitler's first major miscalculation. General Adolf Galland remembers it well. Galland became head of the Luftwaffe's fighter arm at the age of 30.
German forces were only 5-6 years from their birth. And the Air Force was not ready for a battle at all. And his belief was that France and Great Britain never attacked.
Man, look at we're inside a giant cloud shadow, John.
He was confirmed in this opinion by our foreign minister, von Ribbentrop. He has a great responsibility for the outbreak of this World War II. And I know early in 44, after the invasion, I told Goering, the war is absolutely lost, completely. He said to me, here is my car, drive forward to Ribbentrop and tell him the same. And I did. And Ribbentrop, of course, did find some choose that he didn't make the decision to attack Poland. Goering was against this attack. Absolutely. He saw the risk.
Ignoring the risk, Hitler orders his generals to plan an attack against France. Anyone who thinks of the Germans as unfailingly
Where are we
efficient
going,
should
buddy?
study what happened here.
Where are we going? Are we going to do the objectives or not?
We're going this way. I want to see what happens.
The objective is escort the convoy to a frontier post, locate mission recon.
Yeah, we completed Objective A.
Yeah, escort the convoy to a frontier post and locate missing recon forces. We haven't done find and destroy all enemy AA positions. The optional is.
Oh, I know where those are. They're actually north of us. I scouted them out with the helicopter. They're actually north of here, yeah.
A lot of AA and. Yeah, pretty much escort the convoys to the points like A, C, and all that shit. Okay, this cloud is a little bit too big to be realistic. No offense.
I think my skybox glitched, John. It's so dark where we are right now that I could turn on night vision. And if I look up, you see the sky's a big dome. It glitched for me. I don't know about you.
It's light. It's just dim because it's. Those are rain clouds above us. For one.
The sun's
Two.
directly above us too.
At first, his generals decide on the same strategy they used in World War I. An army group in the north will slice across the Netherlands and Belgium and into France. Other army groups in the center and south will exert pressure. One maverick general, Erich von Manstein, objects. He says it's exactly what the Allies expect. It will bog down in trench warfare. Manstein wants to put the main thrust in the center, mass the tanks there, and drive through the supposedly impenetrable Ardennes forest to outflank the Allies. Manstein is overruled and sent away. But by sheer chance,
I think this is the
Hitler
supply
invites a
spot
group
we're
of
supposed to
officers
intercept.
lunch, and Manstein
Yep,
is
and
among
there's a
them.
bunch of ships.
He
There's a
manages
bunch
to
of
present
boats
his
sitting
plan
in.
directly to Hitler. Hitler accepts it. Now it is spring. The attack order has been postponed 29 times.
Let's stop here.
It is time to find out if the radical new battle plan will work. As we will see, it does more than that. It writes a whole new chapter in the history of warfare.
No hits on that.
It finally happens on May 10, 1940. German armored divisions smash across the border. Tanks are no longer used to support the infantry. They are instead massed to strike swiftly on their own. As they did in Poland, Stuka dive bombers blast a path for the tanks. The British and French do exactly what Manstein had predicted. They blindly march up into Belgium, expecting the big attack to come that way. Instead, the attack slices rapidly beneath and past them. Young Kielmansegg is with the 1st Panzer Division, led by the legendary Heinz Guderian.
The French Chief of General Staff, General Gamelin, did not believe that it was possible to cross the Ardennes with so many tanks, with so many divisions. Because if you have seen the Ardennes, you would say he was right. He's surprised about that. We not know. This we knew before. If he could go through, then the quickness would be there. The French were surprised.
But Hitler worries about possible flank attacks on the extended German column.
Don't worry, it just looks like we're not
General
doing anything, but we
head of the
actually are.
General Staff, says the Fuhrer raves and bellows that things are moving too fast. Manstein says later that Hitler is bold in planning, but timid in execution. Meanwhile, the German armor races all the way across France in an incredible 10 days. The two main battle groups close in on the town of Dunkirk from north and south. More than 300,000 Allied soldiers, the entire British Expeditionary Force, are penned up with their backs to the beach. An enormous victory is in sight. If the entire British army is captured, Britain will be defenseless. And then something incredible happens. Hitler orders his tanks to halt. Not only to halt, but to pull back. General Guderian, the Panzer leader, says, "We were speechless."
We were angry is not the real expression, much more than angry, and were disappointed that we saw the success. We saw the possibility to catch the British army. It was a very serious.
They're calling us a what?
A serious mistake that changed the
supply
course
depot,
of the
right?
war.
Yep.
Why did Hitler make it?
Not anymore.
Several reasons.
Well,
General
supply
von
units,
Rundstedt,
actually.
commander of the Central Army Group, is worried about a possible counterattack. But Field Marshal Hermann
I used to
Goering
sit
says
in the
that
lobby
the
in
tanks
this
won't be
fucking-
needed.
I guess
He'll
he's got
destroy
enough
the
for-
British Army with his National Socialist Luftwaffe. The Stuka dive bombers take to the air to do it, and the Luftwaffe's fighters rise to cover. The fighters of the British Royal Air Force swarm to the scene to protect the soldiers on the beach.
Nothing.
A ragtag fleet of big and little boats sets out from the English coast to rescue the stranded soldiers. The German Messerschmitts are unable to protect the slow-diving Stukas from the fast British Spitfires and Hurricanes. The Stukas take terrible losses, and, for the first time, the Luftwaffe fails.
So this task to prohibit the escape was a task that could not be fulfilled.
There we go.
No.
Now it's off the map.
Goering did overestimate his possibilities with this Luftwaffe.
As a result, the British Army and many French troops escape, leaving their weapons behind. Some call the evacuation a great victory. British Wing Commander Geoffrey Page, now retired, disagrees.
It wasn't.
Hey, the clouds are back.
A victorious retirement. But we were beaten.
Yeah, we just left the darkness to kill some stuff. That's it.
Hermann Goering surveys
I'll
the
slow down
littered
for you.
beach with his deputy, General Erhard Milch. Milch says there is no time to waste. An invasion of Great Britain must begin without delay. His plan is daring but simple. Make a quick airborne attack on Britain. Paratroops and gliders will drop on the southeastern coast of England and seize key airfields where the German fighters can land and refuel. Shuttles of Junker transports will bring in 5 divisions of soldiers. They will fan out into the countryside and head for London to seize the government. Goering and Milch take the plan to Hitler, but Hitler rejects it, some say out of respect for the British.
I would not say respect. One of his main ideas was, this time, to divide the world
I guess we're going
between Great Britain and Germany. And so he would show.
Oh, we're heading to the gun AA spots up here. Yeah, they're all around up here.
He would not do too much harm to the British.
I had the occasion to talk to him without any other company. And I told him we will have the opportunity to attack London when London is covered by fog, and we can fly with everything we have ready in the Junker 52, like we did in Warsaw. And he said, stop it, stop it. I don't want to hear this. The whole attack on England is against my opinion, against my willing. I would like, I could stop it. The English population is of
such high class, and we are so similar to the Germans. And I hate to fight England.
Whatever the reason, Hitler drags his heels at fighting England and loses his golden chance. Could Germany really have taken England? The German aces are reluctant to speculate. Sir Christopher Foxley Norris, retired Air Chief Marshal of the RAF, is not.
I'm fairly certain it would have worked. Mark once
You
gave
want me
me
to
the
tell you?
opinion of a very young and ignorant man at the time, but one became older and wiser, and all
John?
the indications are that it would have
Nah, I'm
worked.
good.
It would have been a pretty puny and unsupported sort of attack, but nothing like as puny and unsupported as we were. We had nothing at all. I've had friends who were given the job of defending 2 miles of coastline with 1 World War I artillery piece. We had nothing. But if they'd just gone roaring straight ahead, Errol Flynn tactic, I think it would work.
Hitler addresses the Reichstag and makes what he calls a peace offer to the British. He sees no reason why the war should go on, he says. He is grieved at the sacrifices it will claim. But Prime Minister Winston Churchill answers that Britain will fight on until the already conquered European countries are free. Privately, Churchill tells Roosevelt that if Britain goes down, Hitler has a very good chance of conquering the world. Dismayed by Churchill's response, Hitler reluctantly orders a massive cross-channel invasion of England. The operation is called Sea Lion. The General Staff says that it can take place only if the British Air Force, the RAF, is first destroyed by the Luftwaffe. Only then can the invasion barges be protected against the British Navy. Armies and navies will sit and wait while the air forces fight it out. It is called the Battle of Britain.
Now the Germans are dive bombing a convoy out into the sea. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one going down on its target now. No, missed the ships. He hasn't hit a single ship. There are about 10 ships in the convoy. And here they come. They come. An absolute deep dive. You can see that bomb actually leave the machine. You can hear the little rattles of machine gun bullets. That was a bomb, as you may imagine. There's another bomb dropping. Yes, it dropped. Oh, it missed the convoy. No, they haven't hit the convoy in all this. What? Well, yes, oh, we just hit a Messerschmitt. Oh, that was beautiful. He's coming right down now. I think definitely that's that first content. He's going flat into the sea, and there he goes. Smash! Oh, boy, I've never seen anything so good as this. The RAF fighters have really got these boys dead.
After 2 months of the battle, both sides are near exhaustion.
I participated in the Battle of Britain as a commander of a squadron, flying to London back and forth a total of 68 times. I was shot down only once during the Battle of Britain. But looking back, the Battle of Britain was the toughest part of the war for me. It was a sportive fight between young people of 2 nations being of the same making. Same education, they looked alike, the British and we, sportive, very fair, but extremely tough. Sometimes we had to fly 3 times per day to London and back. And you always lost 1 or 2 of your units during each mission. Some of the pilots couldn't stand it anymore. Some became sick. They went behind the tail of the aircraft before takeoff and vomited. Were flying, came back, vomited again, and became sick.
They were desperately tired. People went to sleep when you were talking to them. There was one man who actually landed, and his aircraft came to a stop, and he didn't get out, and the ground crew assumed that he'd been shot up, so they ran across to him, and he was asleep. He'd just gone to sleep. And even if they weren't asleep, they were incredibly nervy, very jumpy, the sound of a telephone particularly, which was what sent you off. Well, and remains, in my case, to this day, a frightening noise.
When the telephone rang, which was a direct line from the operational headquarters, we could be from sound sleep.
You want to turn on your
airborne
toe?
in under 2.5 minutes, running out to our aircraft, starting the engine, and getting off. Quite often would be half asleep.
John?
And, you found yourself up in the air. And then as you climbed up, you could see these massive dots in the distance.
One day, a mass of bombers shoots him down over the channel. He spends 2 years in the hospital and then volunteers for more combat. Why?
I think to be 20 years of age, to be given a fast airplane and smart uniform, and get paid $20 a week to do it, I mean, what more do you want? If I'd been the son of a rich man, I think I would have paid to been allowed to do it.
By now, the Luftwaffe is nearing its goal of destroying the Royal Air Force, the necessary prelude to the massive cross-channel invasion of England. And then Hitler issues another halt order. The Luftwaffe will abandon its task of destroying the RAF and start hitting cities. The RAF is given a providential chance to recover. Another major mistake. Why did Hitler make it?
Look, it's
During
daytime.
that period, the British ran a few raids
last, I
on
guess.
Berlin and a couple of
It's
other
finally
cities,
doing
but
for
mainly Berlin,
the doctors
which so
today.
infuriated Hitler that he ordered
Providential chance to recover.
During that period, the British ran a few raids on Berlin and a couple of other cities, but mainly Berlin, which so infuriated Hitler that he ordered retaliatory attacks on British cities, London in particular, and with that, he dissipated the concentrated effort of the Luftwaffe and brought on increasingly heavy losses, which in the end resulted in the defeat of the Luftwaffe.
And if they had persisted in a sensible strategy, I think they would almost certainly have won. The odds were stacked very heavily on them from many points of view. And it's not an exaggeration, I think, to say we didn't win the Battle of Britain, they lost it.
Well, in the 50s, the early 50s, my father passed away. He was very young. He was in his early 50s, in fact. And my father was in the grocery business, and my mother continued on with the business. And I never liked the business, and that's when I started driving a cab. And I used to do the things that most guys my age, like say 23, 24, and so forth, in that age bracket. We used to hang around what we called what was the hot shop in those days. That was the local hangout, and that was one of Marriott's first ventures into big business as such. And we had a certain hot shop uptown that every night, just like clockwork, we'd go up there because we knew somebody would be there. If you've ever watched that show on television, Happy Days, it's the same type of thing, you know, where the crowd assembled every night. And these were not teenagers now, these were young adults, I guess you could call them. And from there, everything emanated from there. I mean, we'd go out to get something to eat, we'd go to a movie, or go to a burlesque show or anything, you know, and we'd even wait till late at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, we'd take a trip over to Baltimore just to get a sandwich or something, you know, we were that type. And we used to do the same things. The kids in those days were a little different. I mean, we'd go out on Saturday night, we'd dress to the T's. I mean, we'd have, in those days, the big thing were the ducktail haircuts and suede shoes and the one-button rolled jackets, double-breasted overcoats, and you always wore a hat because if you didn't wear a hat, we were always told that we weren't completely dressed. So we wore a hat everywhere we went. We looked like the junior mafia almost walking down the street.
Sorry.
And generally we'd go to the beaches in the summer. On the weekends, we'd go up to Atlantic City, we'd go to the local beaches down near Annapolis on a Sunday afternoon, get dates just like anything else. Some of the guys were into gambling, and they'd go have their card games, they'd go to the racetrack. everybody had their own little thing that they used to like to do, you know. So we just had a general easy time of it. It was a good period of time for us. I mean, life wasn't too complicated. We didn't need brand new cars like some of the kids have to have today. We had, well, for me, I had cars that were always 10 years old.
Then moving on.
I always used to pray and hope that they would get me where I had to go for the most part. I was sort of daring in a way. I'd take the car on long trips and never worry about it. I might have 2 bald tires on there. Things like that didn't bother us. I mean, we weren't reckless, but still, you know, we just had an easy time of it. It was just a easy way of life. In fact, the big fad came out. I have to laugh when I think about it. It was called cardigan jackets. They were sport coats without collars. The musicians started the fad. I remember I got my first one, and my father looked at that, and to him that was so way out, he couldn't believe it. And even though I was wearing a tie and shirt, very neat, you know, with suede shoes and my perfect, I understand that jacket though. And when I look at the kids today, some of the things they wear, and I look back at that, that was mild compared to what they're doing today, you know, with their clothes. So the 50s were a good period of time. See, my father was a little different. As long as he had a roof over his head, he was from the old days, you know. He believed in having a roof over your head, food on the table, and clothes on your back. Nothing fancy. You know, if you had one car that ran well, he was satisfied. He was easily satisfied. That's one reason I don't drink today, maybe, because it wasn't in the house. I never thought of it, and I don't even like the taste of it, really.
Right.
But, you know, my life was rather simple at that time. I mean, my mother used to get up in the morning, make everybody breakfast, and we'd be running to school or work or whatever we did. And my father would go off to work, you know, down in the store and all. And I'd come home at night, and next time I'd see the family, it'd be evening, you know, when I'd get off from work and all. And we'd eat dinner, and then that's when television was just coming around. I mean, we got our first set in '47, but it was still black and white in the '50s yet. And we used to come upstairs and watch the various shows, and my grandmother was living then with us. And my grandmother was, at that time, probably in her 70s, and she loved anything rough. I mean, it had to be football, it had to be the wrestling match. Another big thing in those days was the roller derby. That was very popular on television. She loved it. She went crazy for that thing. And that was generally the way things were. We used to like to watch the boxing matches in those days. They were very popular on 2 nights a week. You had the Pabst Blue Ribbon fights and the Gillette program. One was Wednesday night and one was Friday night. And they always had the greatest fighters in the world in those days. We thought that the 50s produced some of the best fighters that there ever came about as far as that went. The Redskins were milling along, you know, as they have this year anyway. And that was our other thing we used to watch. And of course we had baseball. That was a big thing for me personally. I loved baseball. And I used to love to go out and watch the old Senators. Really, that was my team. I don't care if they were last place every year, they were still my team. You see, I come from a family. My mother was born in Russia. She came here when she was 5 years old. And my grandmother and all her brothers and sisters from Europe, they used to always say for years before all this, you know, the communist threat, as they called it, they used to say, you can't trust the Russians, they used to say in those days. Don't believe anything the Russians tell you. And that was sort of drilled into my head, you know, that the Russians were bad characters, you know, you don't mess with them. Or you can't depend on them or anything else. So that was sort of in the family, you know, it was always talked about. And we'd get over at my grandmother's house. In those days, she lived with, you know, my grandfather was still living, you know. And they'd talk about the world events, and then I remember back in the 40s even, when Walter Winchell was on television. I mean, radio, I'm sorry, radio. And everything would stop. Everybody would crowd around the radio and listen to Walter Winchell. And the first thing he mentioned about the Russians, everybody started.
Apparently, I got a hit off that. I got to repair my
Russians,
fucking
to my
tracks.
family, always seemed like a constant threat of some sort. I was born in a neighborhood in southeast Washington.
I lost 2 crew members in my turret because of
Show you
I
how
rammed
grew
him
up
on my
in a way,
fucking track
background
goal.
into it.
Yeah, came off.
And my neighborhood was always half black and half white. That area I lived in. And those people have been
Like you
living
also
there,
scrubbed that
families.
concrete.
That's, I mean, we hadn't, but the others in the neighborhood have been living there for some of them 100 years, the families. And everybody in the neighborhood called each other by their first name. And My father always told me that you have respect for everybody that's older than you.
Alright.
So I don't care who they were,
Probably gonna be
black,
on
white,
one
Chinese, or
or
anything.
the,
It was Mr. So-and-so
big.
and Mrs. So-and-so and that sort of thing. That's the way we grew up as kids. We were taught this. And if I was over, well, I had a couple black friends I used to play with. If I was over one of their houses, around dinner time, the mother would say, "Are you supposed to be home for dinner?" I'd say, "No, I guess so, you know." She said, "Well, that's all right. I'll call your mother and tell you you're going to stay here for dinner." And my mother would do the same thing at,
Right
at
in
her
front.
house. They were there playing with me, eat dinner. And we never thought about it. We were
Go ahead.
integrated before integration ever became the fad, so to speak. And the only difference was in Washington, we just didn't go to schools together or the movies together.
Ooh.
I think that's about the extent of it. We used to
Just
go
on
play
fire
football
again.
every day. We used to go,
Just
play in the
year-round.
streets.
That
and
dude was
one day we
aiming
would
at
play
me. I got
games
scared.
right in the streets. We used to play hockey on roller
That's what I was
skates.
saying.
and
Like,
things
ooh,
like
one
that.
front.
We never even
Ooh,
thought
and all
about
that
it.
shit.
The whole issue, it seems, came up in the 60s. And I was almost stunned in or the movies together. I think that's about the extent of it. We used to go play football every day. We used to, play in the streets. In those days, we used to play games right in the streets. We used to play hockey on roller skates and things like that. We never even thought about it. The whole issue, it seems, came up in the 60s. And I was almost stunned in the 60s in a way from all this, the integration and everything. Not from the, in the 50s too, when they started in the early 50s, when they integrated the schools and all. And then it dawned on me, what's been going on all these years? We've had separate schools. I didn't think about it in those days. Never even crossed my mind. One of the big things that I noticed, and I couldn't stand it at the time, it just got to me. Who was it? I think it was George Wallace or Faubus. I forget which one stood in the school door. I forgot which one it was, and wouldn't let the black kids in. It was going to block the kids from Wallace. That's right. And Wallace stood there, and I said to myself, how can a man do that? I just don't understand. I have a soft spot in my heart about kids anyway. And the thing is, I can't stand to see a kid denied an education, which every kid should have. And another thing, I can't stand to see kids go hungry, which I think is one of the total disgraces in this country, when you have hungry kids on the street. But that got me thinking. I'm saying, what kind of people are these down here? And then, of course, you used to see the movies with the Ku Klux Klan running around, and burning houses and everything else. And I guess maybe I don't understand cruelty from one person to another. Maybe that's the bottom line. I don't know. I really don't. Right now, this part of the 80s, the last part here, we're finally seeing a little peace coming about it. They were fighting 30 years ago about it. And basically it's the communists. I mean, it's not so much. But, yeah, the kids were right in a sense about getting out of Vietnam. I will give them that. They should have got out of that. That was a stupid war, a stupid thing all around. We got involved in it. We got in too deep. The French were the only smart ones. They walked out of there and left it. And they said, that's enough. We've had enough. They almost went bankrupt in France from that war. And we should have learned from the French how much money they lost, and they couldn't win it. So what did we have to jump in for? And now I see the benefits of not being in all these wars and everything. Kids are plenty smart today. They can get a good education. I don't say they are getting a good education, but they can get a good education. A lot of this is stemmed back in the 60s. They pushed for a lot of different things, reforms. I don't know exactly which ones, this, that, and the other, but a lot of things have happened to us now. We're doing pretty well in this country. I mean, we have a little financial problem, deficits and all that, but that's government. I mean, they will have those. But the only bad thing that's happened now, I don't know why, but we don't seem to be educating the kids as well as we should. For one thing. Well, yeah, in the 60s they were laid back, a little too easy, and, like they didn't care. And maybe some of that, these kids today, they see some of that, maybe they picked it up a little bit, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but it's a shame. A big country like this, with all the power and money and resources that we have, we can't do any better than what we're doing in the school system here. I don't mean to bring this into it, but still the school system should provide an education for these kids, and a good education. In fact, I can't understand why a kid can't go to college without any money. It's always been a thing of not crawl. I can't understand why it's got to cost $10,000 a semester to go to school, and these kids can't afford it. College should be one step after high school. Just like you go from junior high school to high school, you should go from high school to college. And if you're not college material, at least go to a trade school after that, some type of technical school or trade. But make sure these kids get some kind of foundation so they can have decent lives. I was still relatively young, you know, and here I am. I drove a cab, and I was driving the sightseeing bus in the spring and summer and all. I was putting in long days, you know, anywhere from 10 to 14 hours a day some days, you know. Depends on what happened. And we'd work overtime down at the bus company, you know, and I'd have to work down there 15, 16 hours some day, you know, just to run the tours. And in the season, some days I worked 7 days a week. When they got shorthanded, I had to come in on my day off and everything. And I didn't particularly appreciate these kids lolling around doing nothing, and here I am out there killing myself to keep a family going. And even today, I can't appreciate it. I still hack, you know, I mean, and I'm still putting in my 12 hours a day. And as you can see, I'm not that young anymore. And when I see people just philandering their lives away like that, just letting things go, it gets to me, I guess, you know. That's the way those guys appeared to me in those days. They just didn't care, you know. They thought they were going to live off of somebody else. And God forbid you should ever give in to them and give them something, then you never get rid of them, too. They just hang on, you know what I mean, just like leeches. And I just couldn't understand it. I guess, like I say, I'm born in a different era. Things were different. People were different. And even from that time, the 60s till today, the people have changed. They're a lot more lax today than they were even in the 60s. I feel. I don't know. I see this on the street all day long, you know, running the cab and all. People aren't considerate today like they used to be. That's another thing, those kids in the 60s, they weren't considerate in a lot of time, in a lot of cases. They could care less what happened to you. It seemed to me some of them were so sweet that I couldn't believe them. I didn't know whether it was an act or what, you know. But the minute you crossed them, I found out one thing. The minute you crossed their mind up with anything, like they were acting ultra sweet about something, you know, oh, you poor man, or something like that, you know, they'd come on with. If you did anything to disrupt their routine, you could see the ugliness come out in someone. You know, it was amazing. Not that I'm a big judge of people, but back in their mind somewhere, they had a lot of ugliness, too. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I don't know, they were different. And it got to me, like I say, because me and all my friends were working hard.
Right.
People younger than me at that time, in fact, relatives, friends. And we were, like they say, we were busting our hump trying to keep up with things, you know, keep the rent paid, food on the table, clothes on the kids' back, send them to school, send them on their projects, their field trips, and have money for all these things, then have a little money left over at the end of the week so you can take your wife out to a club or a movie or something, you know. So life wasn't really disappointing. At least you got something out of it, you know. But you had to work. There was just no way you could get around it. But I remember one incident in Georgetown. They told the kids out there, it was back in the 60s too, that they didn't like the way they were dressing. They were sloppy and everything, so they told them they're going to have to wear jackets and ties to class. A sport coat or a suit coat or something. So the kids wanted to rebel, but they didn't know how to do it, so they did. They got all dressed up, and what they did, they didn't wear socks. I thought that was funny in a way. To me, it struck me funny. That was their way of rebelling, but that was a gentle way of rebelling. So that I can go along with because it got a little humor in it. And they weren't bad kids, you know, they were pretty decent kids, but they had to find a way to make a statement. That was it, not wearing socks. And I don't know whatever became of that regulation as it was, but I think when you get older, you get a little more cautious anyway. More so than when you're young, because when you're young, you don't think about a lot of things. You do it because, you know, it's spontaneous. But when you get older, you think out things a little more. You get a little on the cautious side, and you're not going to jump into something real quick without thinking about it. And I guess it made me that way. I mean, I became a little more conservative as time went on. And I think everybody does. Everybody becomes, from Democrats, they go to Republicans when they get older. It always seems that way. Everybody I ever talked to when I was young, they were all Democrats. Now I find that half the people I know are Republicans now. I don't know why, but that's the way it works out. Now, my father once said to me, I'll never forget this as long as I live, he doesn't like a reformer, or as he used to call them, a do-gooder in office. He used to call them do-gooders. And I said, why, Pop? He said, because every time they get in office, it seems like all the businesses go out. Nothing happens in business. They make it tough for a guy to operate in business. Then he would, you know, add on to it. He said, I only want a man in office that I can get to. He said, that's the American system. And he said, and that system works. And I used to poo-poo the thing. I'd say, you can't be serious. I was full of ideals. I was going to set the world straight. I said, you can't be serious. He says, when you get older, you'll understand what I'm saying. And as I got older, I started understanding what my father had said. And it made a little bit of sense. I mean, I still can't condone a guy going out, just out and out stealing, politician and all that. But it seems to work, in a sense, that system of you take care of me, I'll take care of you, and this, that, and the other. Like up in New York many years ago, they used to have what they used to call the ward healer. In every ward in New York City had one guy you used to go to with all your problems. He'd get you jobs, he'd get you health care, he'd get you food and everything. Well, when Lindsay became mayor up there many years ago, he wiped all that system out. And now what happened was everybody came down to City Hall to get what they needed.
You look like
And City Hall couldn't handle it.
Going really weird.
Hmm?
From afar, you look like you're just skipping around and shit like that, floating through.
It's probably low res connection. Connection differences from you to me for being so far apart.
So they wiped, they cut off their left arm, what's the old expression? Cut off the nose to spite the face. And that's what happens. I don't like to be real liberal, and I don't like to be real conservative. I like somewhere dead in the middle, moderate, I guess is the better word to use. I don't like crowds, first of all. I mean, after working out on the street all day long, smelling these gas fumes, and arguing with people over the fare in the cab, and having bratty kids breathe in my face with colds and give me the cold I've got, things like this. When I get home at night, believe me, I shut the door and I stay there. The only way I know anything about the outside world nowadays is what I see on television with the newscasts and the documentaries that I watch.
I see an enemy fucking ship up there.
That looks really cool from this angle, John.
Hmm?
I said that looks really cool.
From the side?
Yeah, you pulling up on them and shooting, and I see the tracers in my scope.
I've already kind of knocked out a majority of them already. There it is. What the mesh? Huh. Mission objective failed. Fucking me. Mission long range, destroy enemy positions on the other coast.
Oh, maybe we're shooting at the wrong one?
Maybe? It is one further down the way. Like I said, I seen a ship off the way, off on the distance off that way. Neat rounds though. Oh, I see a ship. Ah, there he is. Now we're at 33 minutes in that. Damn. Oh, it was just when I finally killed myself, you know. You're saying I've been in that tank for an hour and 30.
Yeah. I'm ready to do something else for now.
That's tall 28, buddy.
That was kind of fun.
That was interesting. It would have been better if there was more players.
Mm-hmm.
Join us for that. Like, I don't know, Nordic and them, but they're not around. It probably would have been better,
Yeah.
faster, smoother, harder, stronger.
We'll just have to get them involved.